Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tier List Tuesday. We are here to talk about rankings, and I'm your host, John. Very lovely to see you all back again from the main show now to this show. So, with this, today we are getting into spooky season because we are going to be talking about Halloween and not just the holiday, but the horror franchise that goes with it. As you probably know, I'm a horror fan. I do have my Evil Dead poster right here. I do have my Thing poster over there. I don't have as much horror stuff. I have more comic book stuff, but I mean, Planet of the Apes can be kind of be horror. Anyway, but I do love my horror. I am a horror aficionado. I've been watching a horror movie every day this past October. So, and I watch Halloween, the film, every year. The first film every single year on Halloween. I adore it. So this is very personal to me. I love this franchise, bugs and all. So, let's truly get into it. But before we do so, let's, Dan, the complete opposite of a horror aficionado, is also going to be trying to give his 2 cents, but he was nice enough to include this on the poll. So I thank him for that because I'm going to go full horror nerd on this. So thanks,
I'm gonna have fun
Dan.
with it. I'll add to the conversation where I can. Wanted to thank Get Swifty 40 for once again becoming our member on the channel. We just launched memberships today, so you can get in on the lower level bulge
Thanks,
and
Caleb.
special shout outs and all. And then I'm sure we'll get into lots more fun with more membership perks to come, including
Although,
some special
speaking of
shows.
super chats and membership stuff,
Just some geeky
we will get into that. Looks like we're going to see an angry, geeky guy
Thank
here.
you for the super chat, man.
Um,
By the way, John, as per always, the link is pinned in the live chat. You guys can go vote for your tier list for today's topic, which is every Halloween movie. So the Halloween franchise, that is. You can go vote for it in the link in the live chat. Tony's here. Already voted for his. All right. Okay. John, let's get into it. So usually we start the show off looking back at what the last week's tier list was. So let's do that first, and then we'll get into this week's tier list.
Nice. Well, first let's get the music out of here because that's just for intro stuff. So here we were more comic booky last time around, and we ranked every Batmobile, and here it is.
Final results. Yeah.
This was our personal list with a lot of disagreements.
Compromises.
But we ranked the Batmobile from the 1989 film and 1992 sequel in S tier, along with the Batmobile from the 1966 show and film. But most people voted S. One voted A and one voted B. The Westmobile, most people voted S, although a couple losers voted B, C, and D as well. The Batmobile, which is essentially a souped up car, kind of like the Westmobile. 2 in S, 4 in A, 2 in B, and 2 in D. God damn, you guys are ruthless. Then the Clooney Mobile, one person voted S, 1 in A, 3 in B, 1 in C, and 4 in D. Guys, come on, it's not that bad. The Tumbler, which a lot of people love, but I personally do not. But 3 voted S, 4 voted A, 1 in B, and 2 in D. Then the Martha Mobile from BVS and Justice League. 1 in S, 5 in A, 1 in B, 1 in C, 2 in D. Then finally the Kilmer Mobile, very even. 1 S, 2 A, 4 B, 2 C, and 1 D. So there is that, and let's get into the most votes. Obviously, Batmobile and the Westmobile are at the top, and then the BVS, Tumblr, and the Batmobiles were in A tier, Kilmer in B, and then y'all were mean on the Clooney Mobile. I will say, I didn't realize that George Clooney had his own Batmobile, but honestly, it's kind of underrated. It looks pretty cool. I will say that. I don't think it deserves D tier.
It's like a variant of the one from Batman Forever. It just kind of goes harder into the Schumacher era.
Yeah, and I like how this one has the wheels
some
out,
elements,
but this one has them in, and I think I prefer that.
Yeah.
But the average vote, the 1989 Batmobile is in S. The Westmobile and the Tumbler are in A. The Batman, BVS, and Kilmer Mobile are in B, and then unfortunately the Clooney Mobile is in C. But that is the list from last week. This was going back to our personal list. But yeah, I think
It
quite
was
good.
nice. It was fun. Maybe we'll do like bat suits in the future. But
Yeah, I sent you a link after we did that because literally I found it on my timeline of a guy ranking every bat suit, like as in like from the 1940s serials to now, and there's a lot, even stuff you wouldn't think would include. So, and that's a lot easier. Same with this, where you just have to look at it and like it or not, and not have to judge actors in something. So definitely easier. So we might do that.
yeah. All
Um,
right. Well, let's get into the poll that led to today's topic because you guys
yes.
got to vote on it. Tell us about it, John.
So obviously, Phase 4 movies have been on for a while. We're trying to get that
For
because
the
we're trying to
MCU.
continue the run
Yeah.
of the ranking the MCU, but it seems like it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. But Halloween being the tis the season, that was the winner. But Nightmare on Elm Street and horror movie directors weren't too low and behind, but Halloween was still the winner for the most part. So you know, I think I
That
think
brings us
I like
to,
how we got here because I do love
yeah.
Halloween. And I'm just gonna say this: the Snyder fan called it the Martha Mobile. I didn't. Don't blame me for that.
I was having fun with them. But anyway, these are the options for today's tier list,
Yes.
John.
First, the film that popularized the slasher film craze, which was later cemented with Friday the 13th. One of the all-time greats. Not much needs to be said about the greatness of John Carpenter's initial film. Then we got the kind of bargain bin sequel. It did end things for a while, but it overall decent effort, but nothing too crazy. Then we get the sore thumb of the franchise, the Black Sheep, because it was intended to be an anthology series, but after production problems and God knows what else, it unfortunately didn't. So this movie sticks out like a sore thumb, and not many people really care for it because of that, but I'm going to get into that later. Um, then, after the fan uh after the splashback of people being like, "No, this isn't a Halloween movie. Get this the fuck out of here." They brought Michael Myers back, so Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, brings the force fully back, and we get the ultimate incarnate of evil back on our big screens once again. Then, unfortunately, we get into Halloween 5, which unfortunately has Michael Myers look like Nick Cage and Con Air for some reason. And then don't tell me it doesn't. Don't
No,
tell me it
I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it.
it looks like Nick Cage, swear to
Yeah,
God.
no,
But
you're not wrong.
yeah, ridiculous. Not nice things to say about this one. Then you give Curse of Michael Myers, and I'm gonna save all of my energy for that later on. Then we have the movie that pretty much was one of the first requels because it said the last three movies didn't happen and was just a straight sequel to Halloween 2. You had Jamie Lee Curtis coming back as Laurie Strode, and brother versus sister coming back together to duke it out once again. And then the Akkads, of course, had to ruin it with Halloween Resurrection by bringing Michael back after a definitive death. And then after this failed, well, they couldn't go anywhere except the remake treatment. So eventually, almost a decade later, we got Rob Zombie's Halloween and its sequel. And then since Rob Zombie didn't want to do a third movie, they rebooted it once again with another requel going back to just the first movie. And we would eventually get sequels to this with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So those are all of our Halloween movies. And we will be getting into a lot of stuff for me personally, that is. So good
It's gonna
times.
be fun, John. I can tell you are excited about it, so let's dive into it. Of course, like I mentioned before, at the very top, you guys can vote for your version of the tier
Hmm.
list. It's pinned. The link is pinned to the live chat. You can go there and vote for yours. And John, you're gonna be leading us through your picks from all the 13 movies in the Halloween franchise. which as of right now lays dormant, potentially waiting for another reboot. But it's got
Hmm.
13 movies, and we're gonna rank them all. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yes. So first things first, of course, I did reorganize them because they got mishmashed. We
Yeah,
apologize
sorry
for
about
that.
that. I forgot to. Yeah. Anyway.
No, you're good. You're good. It's fine. That's I probably should have organized it myself, but yes. So with this, let's just get this out of the way. Yep, that nothing needs
The
to
original
be
Halloween. Yeah.
nothing needs to be said about that. Halloween is
Thank you for the
considered one of the
super
greatest
chat.
slasher films of all time, one of the greatest horror films ever made, in creating one of the greatest slasher icons of all time. It's was a rinky-dink indie movie that took the world by storm, popularized the subgenre, and pretty much did everything right. Yeah, it has some kooky moments here and there, maybe some campy moments, totally. Um, but for what it does do pretty much almost everything right. Even the flaws have its charm. I don't think it's John Carpenter's best movie, obviously, with the poster I have above my dresser. That was pretty much obvious. But ooh, what's my favorite version of the thing? Honestly, I love the classic, but I do love the Halloween 2 theme that has like these epic organs. That was really good. I liked the metal aspect of the Rob Zombie movies, which makes sense. Um, you know, but little needs to be said about this because Halloween exceptional. So now we get into the sequel. Now I know a lot of people really love Halloween 2, and that's fair. Like I can see why. It still had Dean Cundy's brilliant cinematography. The hospital is so creepy. Jamie Lee Curtis still does a good job, even though she has a much more limited role here. But the problem I have with Halloween 2 is that it feels like a generic slasher. Still, slasher was kind of in its infancy at this point because you only really had like a couple movies here and there in regards to um yes, we all love Michael Myers. But Halloween 2 was just kind of the best way I can describe Halloween 2 is simply a watered down version of the original. It's just bland and just a generic slasher. Yeah, the kills are cool and you have Michael being awesome. The theme is great. Donald Pleasance is great. There's more gore, as Tony says. It's just essentially a watered down version of the original. It tries to do what the slashers were doing at the time, like Friday the 13th. Sean S. Cunningham was like, okay, Halloween didn't do gore. Well, we're doing gore. And so Halloween 2 had to push back, be like, well, we got to do gore now. So, and I don't mind gore. I like seeing violence and stuff. It's just like here, it just cheapens the effect of the original. And to me, it's an okay movie. I probably would never watch it again
Hello,
unless I'm
Travis.
like want to do like a grandiose rewatch. Hello, Travis.
And hello, Yash. Yeah.
I can see that. Um, but for me, it's just like it's not bad. And I think the main reason I dislike this one so much is because it introduces the infamous sibling twist, which has divided the franchise like majorly. Some people love the sibling twist because it brings like an integrity to Michael Myers because gives him a motive and they find that interesting and it makes him like a step above a lot of other slashers. But then people like myself, I really don't like the sibling twist since it came from a night of John Carpenter watching Empire Strikes Back and drinking a shit ton of Budweiser. Not the best that he admitted to that straight up. He's like, I was drunk and I watched Empire, and that's how I came up with the twist. So, it's
There you go, Justin Geeky
you
got it.
know, so and the sibling twist,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
feel like it takes away Michael's scariness. For me, Halloween stands on its own. It's such a great ending. It's like just Michael like goes off into the night and he's watching, breathing, waiting in the shadows, and that's it. I'm just getting chills talking about it. So for me personally, I think Halloween 2, it's not a bad movie. It's just hopelessly generic. So with that, I'll put it in B tier. It's
Oh,
not great, but
okay.
I almost put it in C tier. I would
Travis
probably
agrees.
it's iffy. Like I'd give it like a 5 or a 6. Now, it's almost in C tier, like it's very close. It's a very soft B for me, but I kind of agree with Yash a little bit with what this franchise becomes. Yeah, it's better than some of the other sequels, but I
It's like
still
the whole
don't like it.
Superman thing, right? It's the
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like it's kind of iffy. I'm kind of like BC, but I'll go with B. I'll be nice and I'll go with B. Then we get to Halloween 3. As I said, this is the black sheep of the franchise. They want after Michael Myers fucking exploded and burnt to a crisp at the end of Halloween 2. They're like, well, we can't bring him back now, so let's try to do something different. So Halloween 3 got greenlit because they wanted to do a sequel, and John Carpenter was like, okay, let's push for um let's push for something different because Michael Myers is dead. He's like, well, let's try for something different to happen on Halloween night. Awesome, great. How much fucking shit can happen on Halloween night? A lot of stuff. So with this one, they're like, what if the computer age met witchcraft? And I'm like, that's awesome. Um, and the thing is, pretty much the main thing that everyone brings up in terms of Halloween 3, at least for years. Now it's getting a rekindling, but pretty much what everyone says about this movie is because Michael Myers is not in it. That's the biggest criticism is Michael Myers is not in it. I get it because it's called Halloween 3, like, and all the other movies were to have Michael Myers in them, but that wasn't the point. That was not what it was supposed to be at that point. So, you know, I just think that it's a silly reason. Now, I have seen some decent criticisms of this movie. Um, like some weirder aspects. I get like it did the script was heavily rewritten. Nigel Neal, from what I've heard, his version was much better. But Tommy Lee Wallace rewrote it with John Carpenter because they were trying to like get much of the English isms out of the way, and Nigel Neal wanted his name struck off it. And if you don't know who Nigel Neal is, he famously wrote Quatermass. Um, so he the Quatermass stories. So he wrote this movie, and then they rewrote half of his script. So he's like, I don't want my name on it. So Tommy Lee Wallace gets the writing credit. Um, but I feel like the original script probably would have done a better job at certain things. But but yeah, I think this was a really intriguing. Could it have been better? Sure. I think it could have been a lot better. Um, However, I think Halloween 3, like if we fully divorce it from the idea that it's a Halloween sequel, um, I think that this it's it's bonkers. It has fucking kids getting murdered by bugs. Like, come on, that's fucking awesome. It's such a weird and strange movie. Dan O'Herlihy does a great job as the villain as Connell Cochran. But Tom Atkins always fucking awesome. Like no matter what, Tom Atkins always brings his A game. Exactly. If you essentially ignore it's a Halloween movie, it's fantastic. I think it's great. I think it had like that good blending of science and magic and I think everyone does a good job. It does have some silly moments here and there, but here's the thing, Tommy Lee Wallace eventually said this. He's like it's a paradox because if this movie was called something else, Season of the Witch, it wouldn't have gotten made. But the fact it's a Halloween movie, it got made, but the fact it has nothing to do with Michael Myers would have always gotten hate no matter what they did. So it was a paradox. Like this wouldn't have gotten made if it was called Season of the Witch or Revenge of the Masks or something silly like that. So so it was a living paradox of a movie. But even then, I would put it in A tier. I think it's genuinely a great movie. Like
Dang, okay. You put it oh that's
I think it's heavily underrated. I think it's so
wow.
good and it's bonkers, it's weird. It's just like it's an anomaly of a movie, but it's a fucking great anomaly of a movie. So, you know, um yes. Um It was, yeah, at the time, well, it was never a studio because it was an independent production, but they're like, "Okay, let's try something different," and they're like, "Oh, the experiment didn't work. Let's go back to the drawing board and somehow bring Michael Myers back." So, I love Halloween 3. I think it's great. I think it's one of the best of the franchise, even though it doesn't have anything to do with Michael Myers. But, yeah,
It's like the
you know,
Tokyo Drift of the franchise, basically.
yes,
Except
massively
they
underrated and better than a lot of people make it out to be. Um,
exactly.
Absolutely. But now we get
Yeah.
into Halloween 4. Now, a lot of people would assume that, oh, this is the one that brought Michael back. Oh, God, they
It's in the
went back
title.
to studio crap.
Yeah.
Yet,
Yeah.
it's still one of the best the franchise has to offer. I genuinely love this movie. I think it's, for me, out of all the Halloween movies, it's probably the best Halloween sequel, and that's saying something. Maybe not. Most of them kind of suck, but like in terms of the great ones, this is definitely up there. Yes, it goes back to formula. Yes, it brings Michael Myers back. Yes, they have it with the sibling twist, and however, I think Part 4 is great. The only thing I don't like about this movie is I don't like what his mask looks like, and he looks a little bit too much like a football player. He's very like his shoulders look weird. I feel like they propped it up on like wood slats, and he just looks weird. It's just a very. I feel like they tried too hard to make Michael physically like a threat rather than just have him speak for himself. um, oh god, the opening credits is probably the best of any Halloween movie, even better than the original, and that's again saying something because it's just so Halloweeny. Like, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but Michael Myers was a great, like the shotgun kill. That is like one of the best kills of the franchise. This one did mob mentality way better than Halloween Kills. Um, Rachel, great like final girl vibes. Danielle Harris proving how great of an actress she is, even as a little kid, as Jamie Lloyd, just fucking absolutely amazing. You know, I just think, it's um, I just think it's phenomenal. I think it's grossly underrated, and I gotta go with A for me. I would say it's better than Halloween 3. Um, but yeah, I absolutely love Halloween 4. Now, we will never reach that greatness again for a while, unfortunately. With this, we get to Halloween 5, which is a heaping pile of dog shit.
Now we get
This
into
sucks.
the dog days of the franchise.
Yeah, this is complete and utter horseshit. This is horrible. Like one of the original scripts was so much better was just so bad. Or the one of the original scripts was so good and then it became so bad. Sorry. But like the original script by Shem Bitterman, I have like a whole book on like canceled Halloween movies. Um like because called Taking Shape 2. If you're interested about canceled movies, I recommend reading that because it's a great read. The first Taking Shape is just about the production of all the movies. Taking Shape 2 is about all the canceled movies. So I do have that on my shelf. I'll try to go get that at the end. But exactly. Exactly. That's what they kind of try to do with Shem Bitterman's version. The Killer Inside Me is what it was called. Halloween 5, The Killer Inside Me. And then they blame Deborah Hill. She's the reason why Halloween 5 sucks. Because she brought in Dominique Othen and Gerard, and he was the one that fucked everything up. Because he's like, I don't care about continuity. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I don't fucking care. And then we got this shit. And it was so fucking it like I remember watching this, like the Tina was terrible. The psychic shit, Cookie Woman. Like, oh my god, it's just bad. It's a terrible movie. Like, it had some decent things. Danielle Harris is still great as always. I like her chemistry with the other little kid. Very good. Dr. Loomis is decent, but he acts so out of character. He almost acts like a villain. Like, here, Michael, here's the little kid. Like, you're really sacrificing this fucking kid for your own bullshit? Really? God, it's just God, so bad. So bad. Almost nothing good about this movie. So yeah, I'm gonna rank this. I'm gonna rank this in F tier. It's bad. Speaking of bad, now talking about Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers. Okay. So, for anybody that has not seen Halloween 6, congratulations. I'm jealous of you. First off. Second, um, 3 words that make this the worst Halloween movie of all time. Incestuous child molestation. That's all you need for this to be the worst Halloween movie of all time. But it has so much more that makes it terrible. Sure, it's has the tone and the aesthetic of Halloween time. Sure, I'll give you that. But outside of that, it is exactly. But Halloween 5 doesn't make sense, and Dominic Gerard's a moron, so, But Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, it's not even good trash. It's just, and I watched the producer's cut and it's bad. It's because essentially they make Michael not scary by making him the pawn of a cult. Yeah, because that's so fucking scary. The pawn of a cult. And also the cult doesn't fucking make sense because the whole basis of it is like he's trying to kill his bloodline, yet he rapes his underage niece to give him a legacy that he has to kill anyway. How the fuck does this make sense? How the fuck does this make sense? Um, and Paul Rudd is terrible. Like, thank God Clueless came out before this did, even though it was this film first. I thank Clueless for that because this was like he was so bad in this. Dr. Loomis is good. Don't get me wrong. Like, unfortunately, this is the final thing of his grandiose legacy of filmography because he died shortly after this movie. But this was just horrendously awful. There's nothing worse than The Curse of Michael Myers. I know a lot of people will say Halloween Ends. No. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's not a great movie, but like Curse of Michael Myers will forever remain the worst this franchise has to offer, and nothing in my mind will ever be worse. Sorry. It's just bad. It's just fucking bad. Yeah. And here's the thing, you know what? They kill Michael Myers. They kill him with rocks. With rocks. And the thing is, why would you want the head of your cult to be passed on to someone who's old and decrepit? It makes no sense.
It's kind
Makes
of like
sense.
the Madam Web of the franchise where they kill the bad guy
No, at
with
least
the
Madam
Pepsi
Web was
logo.
enjoyably bad. This is just bad. This is just dog shit.
Yeah.
Hold on. Don't even degrade Jason X. Dream Child is not great, but like both are better than this shit. I would say Freddy's Dead is worse than Dream Child, and I would say the remake for Nightmare, and then I would say Friday the 13th Part 8 was probably the worst, or Part 9, but no. Um, but yeah, it's just thank you. We appreciate it. Figure
Yeah.
drawing based. Jason X. Great stuff. Love Jason X. But we'll get into that another time. Well, maybe we'll bring back that. But for right now, we have to talk about H2O. Now, I know a lot of people love this movie. They love Halloween H2O. They
When I
bring
first
back
saw
Jamie
this,
Lee Curtis.
I thought this was like the H2O TV show. Like, what is it?
That's being
It's
kind.
like Michael Myers becomes a
Pretty
mermaid.
much. Um,
Yeah.
yes, Jason Goes to Hell's worse. I actually think Freddy's Dead is so bad it's good. I didn't hate Dream Child. It's a little boring, but I don't think it's horrible by any means. But Halloween H2O is just a movie that I see the potential in, but it's just so painfully mediocre. Um, with that, I think the reason that people There's two reasons that people like this movie. It retconned the Thorn cult crap from the last two movies. Well, really, past one movie because the Thorn cult became a thing because of a reshoot, but that's beside the point. Um, but this is essentially it feels like a souped up TV movie. Like and Steve Miner was known for directing TV episodes, so that makes sense. But sure, it brings back Jamie Lee Curtis. Sure, the PTSD is more nuanced than in Halloween 2018, but it's just like Michael doesn't feel like Michael. He feels like a fucking discount. He feels like Michael Myers from Timu, and he's like the devil's eyes, and you see his eyes throughout most of this movie. Pretty much the two reasons why people like this movie is because it was better than it got rid of the Thorn cult, and it was better than Halloween 6, and it killed Michael. It definitively killed Michael until the Akkads ruined it and brought him back for Halloween Resurrection. But to me, it is a painfully mediocre movie that takes the, as Geeky Guy was saying, the greatest hits of the franchise and tries to redo them and fails miserably. Josh Hartnett is decent in this, even with that fucking dog shit haircut, bro. What's the formula for that fucking hairline? Goddamn. Um, but yeah, essentially Halloween H2O is just painfully mediocre. Yeah, kind of. Um, I agree. It's sure it's yeah, it's better than Halloween 6, but like anything is better than Halloween 6. So that's not saying much, but like I think it's kind of mediocre. I don't think it's very good. If I had to rank it, I'd probably put it in C tier. Like I respect the fact it managed to, kill Michael, but one, that's ruined in the next movie, and two, that's not enough for me. Like, I can't excuse an entire movie of mediocre TV movie crap, especially when I've read the earlier scripts, which were way better. Yeah, it's not that good. I know I'm probably gonna get shit for this in the comments because everyone loves Halloween H2O, but like, yeah, sure, some things are done better than in later movies, but it's not that good. It's not that good. Yeah, that was great. I like that. I thought that was nice. Um, but now we move on to another abomination of the franchise, Halloween Resurrection. Now, this is the other one that many consider the absolute worst of the franchise. Now, Halloween Resurrection, um, here's the thing about Halloween Resurrection. Yes, I get the opening is terrible. It kills off Laurie Strode. They don't do anything with that, and then they kind of just move on from there because yeah, I just think yeah, it's a ridiculous movie. But the thing is, I expected something really god awful, but honestly, it's just a mediocre slasher. Kind of like Halloween 2. Like it's just kind of I get it. The opening with Jamie Lee Curtis is insulting because, like they killed her off unceremoniously and all that shit and because they wanted to do their own thing, but they still have this thing from the first movie and how the switcheroo and all that shit. Yeah, this is a stupid movie, but it's not bad. It's not like worse than some of the mediocre sequels of like a Friday the 13th. It feels like a Friday the 13th movie in Halloween dressing. That's essentially what it is. And as people said, Busta Rhymes is fucking great. Like, "Wah!" Like just like Busta Rhymes beating the shit out of Michael Myers with a bow staff, a makeshift bow staff is just fucking that's amazing. Like I don't get this movie, and then you also have what was it? That other chick, because they were inserting pop because they put LL Cool J into H2O. They put Busta Rhymes here, and then Tyra Banks was that who was in this movie? But yeah, Halloween Resurrection. It's stupid, but it's not like atrociously awful. Like it's not Halloween 5 or Curse of Michael Myers levels of bad. It's not a good movie. But it's not okay. But but yeah, it's not as like atrociously awful as many seem to. Like I was not offended by the opening because because I didn't like H2O very much, but I just was not very much offended by it. So I'm gonna put Halloween Resurrection in like C tier. Yeah. It's worse than Halloween H2O by a mile, but it's just like a mediocre slasher. That's all it really is. Um you know. But now, after Halloween Resurrection failed, they tried many a times to have a sequel properly to Halloween Resurrection, and it just did not fucking work ever. So, like with what a lot of people were doing in the 2000s, they simply remade it because everyone was remaking stuff at the time. A lot of foreign films were getting remade, but this kind of sort of started the remake bug because then actually, well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre started the remake bug. And then you had this, then you had Friday the 13th, then you had Nightmare on Elm Street, and a lot of other stuff. So, also hello, Swack fan. Lovely to see you again. But now we're gonna get into the remake. So here's the thing about Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's fine. Like, in terms of the worst that the horror remake has gotten, like with Nightmare on Elm Street, for instance, it's not terrible. I wouldn't watch it ever again, but like it's very much a Rob Zombie. Here's the thing. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and buy your premise. Like, why does this movie exist? I'll buy your premise. And Rob Zombie wanted to do his own iteration of Halloween. Cool. Okay, great. He loves the original, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing. And John Carpenter gave his okay and all that shit. So the thing that's confusing about this movie is that it tries to do its own thing, and then but it also doesn't. You know? Like, here's the thing with this. It's because here's the thing, the first half of the movie is essentially Rob Zombie's Halloween. Because, like, even though I don't love the idea, like, oh, he's evil because of a bad family life, I'm like, this is a whole new Michael. This is a whole different thing. So, like, I think I think it's it's like interesting. It's just like the family life is just a little eye rolling because again, as Geeky Guy said, like it's like fuck this, fuck that, fuck this, fuck that, fuck. It's like, all right, Rob, we know you love the word fuck, and we know you love hicks and rednecks, but like calm the fuck down. Um, but I think with the remake of Halloween. I think when Rob Zombie is trying to do something innovative with it, it's okay. But then essentially the second half of the movie is just a boring retreading of the original that's not nearly as good. He is in Halloween 2. Um, but yeah, I think Tyler Mane is a good Michael. He's definitely one of the better Michaels along with James Jude Courtney. And yeah, I think, he does a good job. The director's cut is stupid with how Michael escapes. It's like, "Oh, hey, let's bring this girl in to this cell and rape her in the weirdo cell that makes masks and hasn't said a word in 15 years, who looks like the fucking boogeyman who's 7 feet tall." That makes sense. So, it's just ridiculous. So I think it's an okay movie. I think it's fine. And you do have Danny Trejo, even though he unceremoniously gets killed. But I feel like it's just a movie that's at odds with himself. And I would now I'm not it's not confirmed that this movie was meddled with on a studio level, but I believe it, considering that it just feels like Rob Zombie wanted to do his own thing, but like they're like, hey, do more original stuff. I don't hate Malcolm McDowell as Loomis, but I just feel like he's just not as good. It just like kind of just doesn't really work for me. Um, and I think I think it does some good things, but at the same time, it does a lot of Rob Zombie isms I don't like. And then when it tries to do the studio side of things, um, it kind of works because you see those like key references, but then at the same time, it feels like you're hampering Rob Zombie's vision. So it's kind of a bit of a clusterfuck. It's an okay movie. I think it's fine. Like in terms of like the horror remakes we've gotten, it's not nearly as bad as some other people have made it out to be. So I'd put it in B tier. It's not great, but I'd take something a hell of a lot worse. But with that, now we move on to the sequel to the original Rob Zombie film, and now this is Rob Zombie's Unhampered. So this is Rob Zombie doing whatever the flying fuck he wants, and because of it, I weirdly respect it. I don't think it's better or worse than the first one. It's just so different that this is clearly Rob Zombie doing whatever he wants. They're like, okay, because he didn't really want to do a sequel, but he's like, well, they're like, well, we're going to do a sequel with or without you. He's like, okay, I'll come back, and essentially kind of like a Batman Returns situation where they're like, all right, Tim Burton, you don't want to come back. Well, here's all the money in the world, and you get as Dan said, Kate Blanchett with the budget. So, so they're like, okay, cool. So this is essentially Rob Zombie unencumbered, doing whatever he wants, and I don't like it, but I weirdly respect it because this is clearly Rob Zombie doing what he wanted, and you definitely have the really doubling down on the familial aspects, like with the his mother and the white horse, and like seeing these visions, and like honestly, it's not good, but it's not that bad. Like it's probably worse than but like I got to give it credit because Weird Al is in this. Weird Al improves everything. So, but like Malcolm McDowell is even worse as Loomis. He's just a fucking asshole. And then Laurie Strode in this is just ungodly annoying. I get it because like again, PTSD, it goes through people differently, and I get that, but like she's still pretty annoying in this. The kills are okay. Um Overall it's Rob Zombie doing what Rob Zombie does best. So Um, yeah, it's not that great, but like it's not horrible. Like I don't hate it. Um, eh, like I probably put it like right here. I probably put it in C tier. It's not horrifically awful, and I respect his vision, but it's just fucking weird, and it just like I don't love it, but I respect it. Also, fuck Devil's Rejects. Fuck that movie. Honestly, that was worse than both of the Halloween movies. But now we get into the David Gordon Green trilogy, which um there's so much about that a lot of people don't like, and I'm sure I'm gonna catch a lot of strays with this one. But Halloween 2018 to me is probably the best sequel since Halloween 4, maybe even better. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on which one I like more. It's been a long time since I've watched Halloween 4, and it's more recent that I've seen Halloween 2018. So there is that. It does have some like weird comedy bits here and there, and the Dr. Sartain's twist is not bad, but not great. Yeah, I thought that was a decent idea. Um, but I love James Jude Courtney's Michael. He's properly brutal, maybe a little bit too brutal for me personally. Um, but I think he's still kind of like a ninja. And maybe there's like the repression of like 40 years like being in the asylum and he needs to get it out. So I can kind of see that. But I thought that this was overall engaging. Like it's kind of a little bit of a commentary on like older slashers because like the body count wasn't that big, and that's kind of addressed in like modern society. Like, kids get fucking murdered in shootings like by the dozen. So it's like what was special about like four people dying in a small town way back when. So there's that being addressed. But overall, even though the PTSD here was a little bit worse than what was portrayed in H2O, I don't think it was that bad. Um, but exactly, he made Michael Myers a menace again. He was scary. He was properly a threat, like not a pawn of a cult, not Laurie's brother. Like he was a menace. Why did he do those things? We don't know, and that's what's so scary about it. So, I've seen bits and pieces of House of a Thousand Corpses, and it fucking sucks donkey dicks. I liked it better when it was called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Devil's Rejects, I fucking hated. I thought that movie sucked. I haven't seen Three from Hell. Um, uh, yeah, I think 2018. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of corny stuff. Like, there's some corny stuff. There's some bad jokes. I got peanut butter on my penis. It's like, all right, David Gordon Green, we get it. You're a comedy director. Don't put that in there. I mean, yeah, I think so too. I think it's one of the better ones. I'm gonna put it in A tier. I genuinely believe it's a great movie. I know a lot of people look back on it thinking it's not as great because of what happened with the sequels, which I get. Um, yes, it should have ended here. Michael Burns, once again, it works. If people want that ending, then they can have that ending, and then that's it. Um, then we get to Halloween Kills, which is essentially both a better and worse version of Halloween 2. Because remember guys, evil dies tonight. But Halloween Kills, I mean the firefighter kill scene in the beginning where this happens was pretty awesome. Like you can't deny that. But Halloween Kills, yeah, it's just like a fun slasher. It's nothing more than that. It's just like kind of fun. It's not bad, but it's not good either. I feel like I keep saying that over and over again. But it just like with what this franchise, like what Halloween 5 and 6 were, that come on, how can you get worse than pedophilic incest rape, guys? Like how do you get worse than that? Key is you can't. So yeah, I agree, Caleb. Like it's just like it's a whatever movie. Like I would never rewatch it, but like from what I watched it in the theater, I thought it was fine. I thought um, Tommy Doyle was pretty annoying. I thought like the Evil Dies Tonight thing was fucking stupid. The mob mentality thing was done way worse than in Halloween 4. Um, and and the ending scene that was pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, and a lot of I mean, Halloween Kills. The kills are awesome, and it's fun. Like I'll give it that. Like it's a fun movie. So like, uh, I'd probably put it in C tier. C tier is I'll put it better than those two. Yeah, I'll put it in between there. And finally we get to Halloween Ends. Oh boy. Oh boy. Um okay. I don't hate Halloween Ends. Yep. I know the boos are gonna come for me. The mob is gonna come for me. Oh boy. It's gonna come for me. I don't hate Halloween Ends. I don't hate it. I know everyone thought it was the worst thing since cancer. I know everybody and their brother absolutely despised everything about this movie. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't think it's like here's the thing. I get why people hate this movie cuz it does a lot of stupid things. However, I think the premise and concepts are there of a good movie, but it's executed horribly. Like it's there, it's like almost I don't mind the Corey stuff. I thought Rowan Campbell did a good job. I don't think he's like a horrific actor or anything. I don't think he deserves to have his career nuked. I thought he was really good at The Monkey earlier this year. I can't wait for the Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. But this one finally, had a proper ending to Michael Myers. Like this continuity, boom, dead. Awesome. Great. Um, but it has the idea of Haddonfield being like this like depressing like wasteland in terms of like mentally. I thought that was interesting. You have um Lori not trying to get her PTSD of the better of her after what happened with Karen, although I wish there was more with that. Um, you know, but it's just a lot of the execution is not there and it just fails. But I like the ending. Like Michael Myers, like it's a weird way to kill him, and exploding was awesome. Again, the kills are great. I like the idea of like the persistence of evil. Like I think it should have been done better with like Corey being the next shape. I think that could have been, yes, I agree. The ideas should have been definitely, they were very not very well executed. It's one of those movies that I liked, that I genuinely liked earlier on. I don't like it as much as I did because it is a bit of a failure. I'm not gonna rank it in F tier. Um, but uh I'm gonna let the mob mentality peer pressure me into doing this. I'll put it in D tier since there's nothing in D tier. Like I don't hate it as much as D tier. Like I'd probably put it in
Yeah.
C or B tier, genuinely. But yeah, that was dumb. By the way, guys, plugging my channel, Geek Informant, I do have a video about the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy where I have a video called How to Fix the Halloween trilogy, the Halloween reboot trilogy. And you guys can watch that on how I fix this broken trilogy and make it into something way better. So if you want to watch that, please go to my channel and watch that. I highly recommend it. That is a video I'm very, very proud of. I mean, he all of a sudden had psychic powers in like fucking Halloween 5, so like it's not the worst thing we've seen.
But
But
is it
like
as bad
if
as
I had my
Force
way, I'd probably put it in C
communication?
tier at the very end. But like I feel like D tier. I'll put it in D tier for now.
Yeah.
Um when I first watched it, I would have put it in B tier straight up. I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. Um but yeah, this is my ranking of the Halloween franchise. Halloween Ends might be bad, but it's not Halloween 5 or 6. So,
Yeah, it's. I mean, you could tell this franchise is a lot of mediocre with a few good ones every generation. I guess it's one a generation, roughly speaking. Uh, yeah, lots of C tiers, lots of C tiers. But before we go,
yes.
John, the people are voting on their tier list. Let's take a look at what the people said.
Yeah, I'll do that later. But in terms of what you guys are saying, there's not a ton, but let me try to refresh it again. Um,
So
but this
this is
is what
still
we
up. It's
have.
up for a week, so you guys can still vote for it. The link is in the
Hmm.
live chat, so go ahead and get in on the action if you like. But John, let's see where
Yes.
we are at right now.
But obviously Halloween, most people say S tier because it's goaded. Although both people said Halloween 2 is also S tier. I don't agree with that, but one person voted S tier and then one person voted D tier. That's really funny. And then Halloween 2018, most people in A, one in B. Halloween 4, one in A, one in C. Halloween 3, one in S, two in B. Halloween 2, one in B, one in D, one in F. We did include an F because I thought Curse of Michael Myers was so bad, it can't be just in D tier. So I'm like, Dan, we got to include an F tier on this one. But then Halloween Kills, one in B tier, three in C tier, then Halloween H2O, three in C tier. Goated, love you guys. One for Halloween 5, one C, one D, one F. Halloween Resurrection, three in D. Halloween Ends, two D, one F, one S. One S. That's interesting. And then, well, two people voted in D tier, so it went down. And then Curse of Michael Myers went down to F. But the average vote, Halloween and Halloween 2 remain the reigning champs, although now it has an A tier.
Accurate.
Halloween
Yeah.
3, most in B, 1 in S. Halloween 4, 2 in A, 1 in C. Halloween 2018, 2 in A, 1 in B, 1 in D. Halloween 2007, 1 in S, 2 in D. Halloween Kills, 1 in B, 3 in C. H2O, 3 in C. Halloween Ends, 1 in S, 2 in D, 1 in F. Halloween 2, B, D, and F. Halloween 5, C, D, F. Resurrection 3 in D. And then 1D, 2F. So there it is, guys. This is most votes. This is average votes.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of things lowering.
You could tell that the
But
original
and
two
then this is my
movies.
personal
Yeah,
list.
exactly. The original two movies, John, it seems like those stand well above, head and shoulders above the rest in terms of the
Yes.
popular opinion, at least. But yeah, that's our tier list for the Halloween movies.
Well, mine. I'm sorry you couldn't
It's
really add
it's all
anything,
good.
man.
I'll take the credit if you like. But thank you, John. That was great. And then again, just your level of
Well, if
knowledge on
people
these
vote
was
for
amazing.
it, that's the thing. If people vote
Yeah,
for it, you got to
Elstree
vote
could be
for
an
it
option.
because,
Yeah. Speaking of it, John, we need some ideas for next week's tier list Tuesday. And we know Phase 4 of the MCU is coming back because it still
hmm
came in second. I was thinking maybe we do bat suits, and then maybe we can do Fast and Furious movies, or maybe we can do other
And then I'll
Halloween
leave you to
related
Fast.
content.
Since you left me to Halloween, I'll leave you to Fast and Furious. Boom, it's even. There you go.
Cool. You guys got any ideas? Let us know in the comments down below, or of course in the live
I
chat
would
if you
say
got
bring
your
back
ideas.
Friday the 13th because I have seen all of those except for the remake. So, so I can definitely,
Perfect.
and I've seen all the Friday movies. I've most of the Friday, everything except the remake, and then same with Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen everything except the remake, and I don't plan on it because fuck the remake. But yes,
All right. Well, with that, I think before we finish up, John, we got one more thing to do, which is to go through the Fancast Friday poll that got put up a few hours
let's
ago. So let's see what we're going to be voting for this or talking about this Friday. Who are we casting
exactly.
this Friday? Let's get into it, shall we? John, walk us through the poll.
Well, we have mainly DC stuff. Obviously, it is DCU Daily after all. But we have Storm in the MCU. We have Matthew Lillard in the DCU. Nobody for Aquaman. Poor Aquaman. And then Henry Cavill in the DCU. A lot of these reverse fan castings, but
I
something
mean, I
different.
like that Henry Cavill's in the lead. You guys want to have us cast Henry Cavill in the DCU this Friday? He's currently in the lead. There we go. If you haven't cast your poll for that, for your vote for that yet, go to the community post section on YouTube and you can cast your vote there. And of course, we just launched memberships. We're going to give you guys more information on that later this week. But if you guys have already signed up, a couple of you guys already have, we appreciate that. It really helps us out a lot. And you'll be getting some exclusive, content as a result of it. And of course, we're still going to be here 5 days a week doing the usual. So with that, John, yeah, poor Aquaman, but can't not vote for Henry Cavill in the DCU. So
Well,
Fancast
I
Friday.
didn't. I voted for Matthew Lillard.
I know, I know. No, nobody's perfect, John. But anyway, I'm kidding. We're gonna get into Fancast Friday on Friday, but back tomorrow it's gonna be Liz and I. We're gonna be going through some of the latest from the world of the DCU. Of course, we're gonna talk about Marvel because Liz is back. She's gonna talk about her experience and all the celebrities she got to meet at New York Comic Con. So bring your questions, and then John, we'll see you back on this Friday's episode for Fancast Friday and another episode of DCU Daily. But again, if you're new to the channel, we're here 5 days a week. And on your way out, hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. So with that, John, I think we have reached the end of the line on today's show, haven't we?
Yes. And remember, I don't know. That's the only thing I could think. But remember, guys, always and forever, fuck Jeff Snyder.